I finally had the chance to review the financials to determine the total price I paid on the house I bought for 5,000 euros in Mussomeli, Sicily. It was a premium house, which means it's in better condition than the €1 homes, but still needed work. In today's video, I'm going to review the condition that the house was in when I bought it, the scope of work for the renovations, and the cost to renovate the house. On this channel, I discuss living globally and the ways you can afford to do so. I share business hacks in real estate and healthcare, showing you a pathway to do the same. My name is Carl Pierre, and this is ENTP Life. Let's go back to 2020 when I first bought this house. What's surprising to me is that when people think about €1 homes, they think that they're in pretty decent shape. The €1 homes are in absolute mess for the most part. They're usually complete ruin homes. And if you're going to be taking on one of those projects, you're going to have to take it on and pretty much redo it from scratch. I haven't seen a €1 home in all the properties that I saw that was in good enough condition to move into. They all were not in livable condition and needed substantial renovations. Also in these towns that are selling cheap properties, there tends to be another level up the premium homes. And if you look at my previous videos, you can see the difference between these €1 homes and their condition and the premium homes that we toured. I actually bought two premium homes, the one that I'm talking about here, and another which I live in with my family when I'm there for the summer. Since it's been a few years that these projects have been going on, the prices actually have started to move more or less like all the assets in the whole world have kind of gone up in price a bit over the past few years. So right now, your starting point is probably about $10,000 or so for a move-in ready home like I got. And they still have €1 homes, but again, those are going to be dead. So just know that the price structure has changed over the years. Things are a little more expensive, but it's not like they've gotten to a point where it's just out of control or not worth it. The total price to purchase this home was $8,000 after paying broker's fees, translation fees, and closing fees. I've been investing in real estate and flipping houses since 2006. At this point, it comes easy to me to take on a deal like this since I'm comfortable with the pricing and planning of these sort of renovations. Originally, I was just going to do a light rehab and keep it as close to original as possible, but both Luca and Cecilia, my team at cheaphousesinitaly.com, convinced me to take it further and do a substantial renovation. The original plan on the small house, since it was in fair condition, was that we were going to mostly spruce it up. But the idea for sure that I wanted was to do a much better bathroom. That bathroom was large enough to actually make a pretty decent bathroom compared to some of the other homes that I've seen. A lot of the homes have like these small bathrooms, but this one had a nice large bathroom. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to put any money anywhere, I'm going to put it in the bathroom. Everything else is in fair shape. I'm just going to lightly rehab this property. I thought about keeping the kitchen as it was, maybe painting the cabinets, and using decorations and simple repairs of the cracks and paint to get it to a livable standard. So in my first phase of construction, that's all I commissioned, literally, was to clean up the home, get rid of one of the bathrooms and completely redo that, and then patch up any of the cracks and paint it. And that cost me around, I would say, $8,000 or so to get that work done. And the only reason that I'm not quite clear on that is because I paid in euros and I had sent like a few other payments that kind of covered some of the electrical costs and some of the other like odds and ends that had to be done before we started the work itself. And that was it. So my original idea was $5,000 for the property, fees for closing, etc. And then another $8,000 to get it spruced up and feeling comfortable. And then Cecilia entered the picture and was like, Carl, the house is coming along, but I think that you could do a whole lot better, especially if you want to control the humidity. And that's when we increased the budget. You see, a lot of these homes are made out of stone. And if they stay closed for a long time, the humidity builds up in the walls and starts the decomposition process where some of the plaster will start chipping. You might even get some mold issues. And she was like, if you want to mitigate that, we're going to have to do a more extensive renovation. And at that point, we pretty much said goodbye to the budget and started to do things in a what is the best that we can do for this type of home so that we could show people a good range of what can be done from the point that we started to the point that you've seen on the channel. So what Luca and Cecilia proposed is that we install new drywall to keep the moisture under control, and that we install air conditioning as well as redo the plumbing and the electrical so that the integrity of the electrical and plumbing behind these new walls were in good shape so that we wouldn't have to kind of go back and dig into it. So we've added air conditioners on the second floor, the first floor, a whole new kitchen because the kitchen that was there was old, and of course if we update everything else, it would look kind of silly to have this older kitchen. We added new wall fixtures and sconces for the side tables to kind of add more light to the room. We replaced some of the exterior doors. One of them was still made out of old wood. And all of these ideas were really the brainchild of Cecilia and Luca. They kind of talked through kind of best case scenario. Cecilia was more for the aesthetic and design of things and the logical thinking behind what should be done. And Luca was letting her know what was possible and what might be the pain points that we may come across and kind of going a little bit deeper. It's good that the renovations went fairly well. And the fact that Cecilia was there while I wasn't allowed the project to be managed and supervised so that it stayed within the scope of the original vision. Now, that's a critical thing because a contractor is going to execute what you tell them to do in the way that they've interpreted it. And if you're not able to kind of either rinse and repeat the same sort of project, you really have to work closely with your contractor to make sure that they're executing on the vision that you had in mind. And the way that this team is built out allows us to, one, supervise the projects well, and two, ensure that the aesthetic vision is the end result, resulting in a happy customer. This renovation took 2 years to do because of several starts and stops, and no urgency to get it done since I was still stuck in the US with all the travel restrictions. Over the months that passed, I completed the work in a few different stages to get it to this point. If working on it in a focused way, this project could have been hammered out in probably 6 weeks. So in the first phase of construction, where we were getting the basics done, just kind of cleaning up the house, adding a new bathroom, cost me around $8,000. Once we got to phase 2, the expenses went up a little bit because we had to strip the walls, install new studs, install new electrical, new plumbing. There was quite a bit of work, quite a bit of materials. That second phase cost us roughly $20,000. It's just shy of $20,000, but we're going to round up to $20,000 for the sake of easy math. So far I was in for $28,000. Now, the next phase of construction, which was getting the IKEA kitchen placed, that actually cost me less than I was expecting. The kitchen itself only cost $3,000, and we ended up spending a little bit more money just to have things assembled and placed so we could throw another $1,000 on top of that, taking us to a total of $32,000. The rest of the cost associated with this project came into the form of fees and some of the mandatories that we had to pay, paying some of Cecilia's design fees, as well as the water, oil, connecting of internet, paying the back taxes on the property, and the furniture itself, getting the furniture shipped, the trucks coming to deliver it. I actually worked with somebody directly who went out to Catania with me to go to IKEA in Catania, pick up some of the goods, bounce around to Palermo. So all in, we were looking at those costs to complete this work. Everything that you see in the video that I covered, which is my $5,000 home, you could see exactly what we've done. And of course, the outcome was pretty positive. There's a few other things that I would have liked to have done to this property to improve it overall, such as adding another water tanker. That's probably going to come. I'm probably going to add another 2,000 liters of water to the roof of the home. The homes in Sicily have water tanks because the water levels actually fluctuate in Europe, where there's not as much fresh water as in some seasons as you would like. So having water storage for when they do start to taper off water is in your best interest. Another thing that I would like to do for the home is I would like to get more decorations for the kitchen. The kitchen at this point is still kind of bare. I need to get some artwork, maybe a small seating area, as well as a few shelves installed, just to make the space feel a little warmer. It feels a little too modern for the area. So I kind of want to make it feel a little more rustic. It's kind of silly that I'm saying that, but we spent money to modernize it and fix it. But now I'm seeing that it needs some rustic elements and a little more Italian flair, so to speak. So let's do the math for my all-in price for this project. $8,000 for the purchase price, $38,000 in renovations and furnishing, for a total of $46,000. In reality, I didn't have to spend that much. I progressively updated it and reworked some aspects of the project. Had the vision been clear from day one, there would be no rework and less waste, and I could have avoided spending as much as I did. It probably could have spent about $38,000. I think when taking on one of these projects, you should budget between $20 and $60 per square foot. Obviously, that's based on the starting condition of the property and how much you actually want to improve the property. If you like the work that we're doing, check out cheaphousesinitaly.com to meet the team and see what we have in our inventory of properties to sell to you. These projects are great for artists who need low cost of living, lovers of culture, and remote workers, as well as retirees who are thinking about living in Italy. Even though I spent more than I originally planned, I'm happy with my decision and never looked at these as investment grade. I literally bought these houses to say, I've got a summer home in Italy and to share time with my family and friends. For me, that's something that I just can't put a price on. These projects are excellent for people who are handy or people who want something of their own in a truly beautiful place. Let me know what you would have done differently with these properties right in the comment section below. Join me this Wednesday night for a live session where we could talk about the renovations and how you could approach your project when it's your turn. As always, like, subscribe, and share this video with other creatives that would love to do this project themselves. Until the next one, take care.